Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're back for another chat Saturday morning. How you doing, AJ?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Living the dream, so they say.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
okay. Yeah, just plodding along, singing a song.
yeah. Saw your video last night. The Predator head. That was very nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Spur of the moment purchased, I suppose, with the money that I've saved over the past few months, which didn't make too much of an impact, and one of those items that I regret having got rid of some time ago. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with it to have that back in the collection, given that my love for the franchise and aliens and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I feel like I've done. Well, I say I feel like I've done well with it. What I mean is like, it's in perfect condition. It's doesn't even look like it's been displayed. There's not like an ounce of dust on it anywhere. I'll soon change
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I'm happy to have that. But this sort of goes into my video tonight. Purchasing for packaging. What did I purchase that for? I didn't buy it for the films that were in it because I've already got them.
yeah,
I
no,
bought it for the. I
yeah,
bought it for what it is. I bought it for the packaging, essentially, the thing that the films are in,
mm,
and that's what I'm talking about tonight in my video.
yeah,
Purchasing for packaging.
yeah. And I think, I think the two types of collectors. There's kind of like us that, packaging is quite important. And then you've got your other sort of collector that's just interested in the film. But then again, I guess that then splits down to, well, are they just worried about the film and not the picture and sound quality? So
Well,
DVD's quite okay
the,
for them. And
the
then you
thing
got the other
is,
one that wants the best quality. So
that's right. But are we not all drawn to packaging? What I mean is, like, if you've got someone who says they're only interested in the film, they don't care about the packaging. If you presented them with two Blu-rays, for argument's
yeah,
sake, of the same film, exactly the same film, but with different packaging artwork, with different, slip cover, for argument's sake. I'm just picking one out of my head, right? Just one random. Ghost in the Shell, right? The reason I picked that is because I know on the top of my head, I had two Blu-ray versions of it with two different slip covers. One was like the standard sort of metallic-y looking shiny slip cover, and the other one was a red slip cover.
yeah,
So if you presented someone with that who wanted that film, they're only buying it for the film, and you presented them with them two, wouldn't their decision then be informed upon which packaging they like the best? I'm sure it would be. You'd go, I like that one better. I'll take that one.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How many people would actually say, whatever, whatever one, especially if you're buying it, you're going to buy the one that, it speaks to you more as an image, surely.
I guess price does come into it though. So say if the one that is a nicer design is five
Yeah,
pounds
we're
more.
talking we're talking about the same price here
Oh, same price, yeah.
in this scenario. In that sort of that's why I picked that, because I think one was a standard edition, the other one was maybe, I don't know, maybe a HMV exclusive or something like that. But you
Yeah.
put them both in front of that person, you say, which one do you want? You know, they might be driven by the fact that one's an exclusive and can only be got through one arena, so to speak.
Mm.
How many people are actually going to say, I don't care, whichever one? See what I mean?
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
price, same item, just different slip. Yeah, I mean, so I think all of us are you know, yeah, and that's what I talk about tonight. That's what I sort of get into, that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I look forward to watching that because I am driven very much like by packaging.
Yeah, it doesn't
even
really
the
delve into like what you do with like the sort of slips. I mean, I do mention the steelbook stickers and that, but I know where you buy like slip covers and things like that. What I don't really get into.
no,
I don't really delve into that side of it. More, you know, yeah, Anyway,
yeah,
it's,
that might be a subject I could put on my kind of take on it
yeah,
as a future video.
you could do indeed.
Yes. But yeah, I haven't really got a specific topic to talk about today, but it's just really just general, chit chat about movies that have coming out or any news that's been sort of circulating, any releases that are coming out that you're looking forward to, or potential pre-orders, or anything really, anything you want to chat
Yeah,
about really.
just a general chat. See where it takes us. See where some
Yeah.
comments take us. Things like that. If anyone's watching, because look, it's a lovely day outside. We're probably just in here doing this, and everyone's out enjoying the sun.
Yeah. Well, we have
With us.
got 2 people watching. It did go up to 4, but it's gone back down to 2. But yeah, appreciate anyone who's watching.
And drop a comment with regards to anything you want.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, any questions you want to ask, yeah, shoot away. Something I saw this morning when I woke up, some news about apparently the Batman 2 has gone into production, but apparently Matt Reeves is not going to be directing it.
Really?
No. Apparently he's not very well, is he? His health is not good.
Yeah, I knew there was something going on. There was rumours that there was something going on with him and whatnot. Okay, I don't really know what to think about that because obviously I'm not. Yeah, unfortunate for him. I hope he gets better. But the film I weren't a fan of anyway. It's one of those kind of situations where I sort of hope that sometimes you get a sequel that elevates the film that comes before it for you.
Yes.
That makes sense. And while I don't like the Batman particularly, or I don't like it, or find it very hard watch, I'm hoping that the sequel does something to elevate that first one in my mind. Biggest stumbling block for me is Robert Pattinson. I think he's awful, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the actor myself.
And like I said, once you take the thing that I don't get or don't like is the realism, is the realistic nature of, the Penguin was great. Don't get me wrong, TV series of the Penguin was great. That worked, but the Batman, like I said, you take away any I can't remember the term I used to use. To take away the fantastical, and all you're left with is the ludicrous. And the film looks ludicrous in the sense that there's a man in a bat walking around in a nightclub and things like that. It's just, it just don't work for me. You need to have an element of fantastical, and Christopher Nolan's ones, as real world as they were set, there was still a fantastical element within those films. It's still edged onto that slightly. But in the Batman, it's just full sort of almost real world kind of stupidness. And you can't have that. You can't have that with Batman. You need a sort of, an unbelievability to some of it for it to work. It's as ludicrous as a man you see. Seriously speaking, right? You go out now today and you see a geezer dressed in a bat suit, or who's trying to fight. What do you think? You're just gonna laugh, aren't you? You're gonna, even a billionaire or whatever he may be, you're gonna laugh. It's just stupid, what an idiot. And it's that element to it that just don't work for me, because it's just Anyway, enough about the Batman. I feel my blood boiling with that film.
Yeah,
Frustrating, very frustrating movie.
yeah. Um, another thing I've heard. Apparently, obviously they since our last chat, which was kind of about Predator, wasn't it? They hadn't released
Oh,
the trailer for Badlands, and
that's
since
right.
that last stream, we've had the trailer, haven't we?
We have.
Um,
We have.
and I think a lot of people aren't very happy with the design of the Predator this time round. I think you've said you and this has been quoted. It's too human looking, human-esque, shall we say?
Yeah, it's not just human-esque in face; it's in size as well. I get that it's yeah. I get okay in the logic of the story. It's a runt predator. It's a young predator, so he hasn't fully grown, fully developed. Okay, fair enough. But that doesn't, that doesn't make for the face design. That doesn't explain the changes made. Yeah, it's Predator. I'm looking forward to it. Right. I mean,
Yeah,
it might be a decent film with a bad design. That's the best I can hope for. It's a good film. You just got a terribly designed Predator, and I have to look past that design and sort of, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that, you know. Again, why mess with what works? Why? Well, I say what works. Every Predator film has done, yeah, made change. It's like they never understood what the Predator looks like, and some of them just look atrociously wrong. You know.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I remember the one in Alien versus Predator used to be called. They used to call it the Mongoloid Predator in the first AVP film. Yeah, Mongoloid Predator, and the best Predators, that very first one,
yeah.
design wise. Second best was in Predator 2 because it was essentially the same Predator, just recolored differently, but the skin tones were different, that sort of a thing. But then you step into this realm of, let's try to do something different. Let's the Predator in bloody the three Predators in Predators. I hate them. The new Predators in that. I like the film. The Adrian Brody film. I like it a lot, but the design's awful. Okay, the Predator in Prey was different.
Yeah, I wasn't keen on that one.
Yeah, I don't hate it as much as what I hate the ones in Predators, the new sort of wolf predators, whatever they're called.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just like, let's change it, change. Let's try and, you've got a perfect design, okay, in a Predator, and you go and you mess with it each time. The only one that's got away with it, the only film series that's got away with it to a degree is Aliens. What I mean is, like, great designed creature in Alien. James Cameron gave you the aliens in more insectoid, and they were smaller, and they had all the ridges on the dome. It worked. No one questioned it. It was fine. Then Alien 3, you had the dog-born predator. Dog-born alien. And again, it worked because obviously the alien takes on the characteristics of the species that it comes out of. And yeah, but I'm not talking about those other things that came in the Alien films, like the newborn and etc. etc. But for those first three Alien films, they were fine. They worked. Even the Alien Queen as a design was fantastic. But these films always feel like we've got to change. We've got to try and do something different. We've got to make it look different. And in doing so, you take a perfect design and you just crap on it.
yeah,
It's like, how do we better that? Who's going to sit down and say, hold on a minute, I can make a Predator look better than what Stan Winston, this studio, did? I'll do that. Oh, yeah, this looks fantastic. Oh, yeah, that looks great. That design for Predators looks great. Look at it. so much better than, you know, this Dak or whatever his name is. I forget his name. Deck. I don't know what's his name in the new Predator film.
Yeah, Deck. I think it is.
Well, I look at him. I look at his design. He looks fantastic. Who sits and says that stuff?
Well, from what I've heard is the fact that it's a choice that's been made for him to look more human, because in the film he's going to be a protagonist. The director, because it's that Dan Trachtenberg, isn't it? Is that his name? Dan? Yeah. He thinks that humanizing the character will make the audience relate to him better, but it's not necessarily about the look. It's more about his character, how he is, which will make the audience connect with him. Like you say, I think changing the look of the Predator too much almost counteracts what you're trying to do. And strangely enough, obviously you've got what's the animated one that's coming out? What's that called?
Killer of Killers.
Killer of Killers. The same guy doing it. When you look at the designs in the cartoon, they are classic Predator with the sort of dome forehead with the heavy brow, which is completely gone with this runt.
Yeah. See, now
Predator.
Honestly, I think that you could do a protagonist Predator as a normal Predator.
So yeah, so I agree. Yeah, I don't see the need.
You kind of stepped into that realm with as bad as the Predator looked, his face, but you did step into that realm with AVP. You know, obviously the comics have done it. You just work a little bit harder with it. That's all you do.
Yeah,
just work a little bit harder with it. You know, of course you can do it.
The only thing I could say, they could probably pull a rabbit out the hat and say that he is actually a hybrid. So he's kind of like half human, half predator.
Yeah, it's just stepping into the realm of what you don't want, though, to be honest.
Yeah,
you give me a 7-foot predator that's a protagonist to, even going back to the Predator, the end of the Predator had two proper predators that were protagonists in the version we didn't get to see, that were, ally predators.
Oh, what one's working at Area 51?
Yeah, the ones that were there, and they used them. I know they wouldn't have been in it a great deal. They'd get killed in no time. That's what that would have happened. But it's same as the Predator in Predators. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, with Adrian Brody, where he chops it down and it takes on the thingy predators and then gets his head sliced off. It's not stepping into a realm of what they ain't done before, but I get, it's a bigger part of the film. It's the main, but you could still do it. You could still pull it off with a normal predator, and that's what people want to see. They don't want to see this thing that's unless this is the only other thing I can say is, unless these are not being made for us anymore. These are being made for a new audience. These are being made for younger cinema goers. Younger people who, you got to think Predator's 40-year-old now, 87, 9 40 years, which is a huge amount of time, really. There's a lot of people that probably ignore those films, younger viewers, who are, my ignorance when I was young, even now to a degree, my ignorance of older films knows no bounds. In that, when I was young, I didn't really want to watch anything before a certain era,
Yeah.
Even now, I'm not really overly interested in older films, I'll be honest. They don't really do nothing for me. And these films, to a lot of younger people, are older films. And if they've got the same sort of mindset, then, they probably couldn't give a toss how the Predator's designed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because appreciation for how it was.
Yeah.
There we go.
Although you would hope that, that producers of these films and obviously the cartoons and whatnot are trying to appeal to the existing fan base as well, because, the likes of you and I that have grown up with these characters over the last 40 years are still very invested in it and want to go and see these films. Like you say, if you kind of mess with the fans will kind of turn away from it, which is what's happened with the likes of Star Trek and Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But we won't get into Doctor Who because people start switching off when you start talking about Doctor Who and Star Trek. So,
I know. I did hear some interesting Doctor Who rumblings that would possibly make me go back and watch it if it came to pass.
Okay.
And that is, I'll just say quickly, is that it's all speculation at the moment and rumblings, and so it may not come to be. But J. Michael Straczynski, who was the creator and writer of Babylon 5, is becoming a British citizen. And he's got a lot of love for British science fiction series. He loves, and a lot of British science fiction series sort of informed the way that he writes. He would write his stuff and this sort of thing. Now, J. Michael Straczynski, like I said, creator of Babylon 5. There were some of the latest seasons of Babylon 5 being 22 episodes. This was unheard of. He wrote every single episode of the show at a later point. He's written Spider-Man comics, all this sort of thing. A couple of other TV series like Jeremiah, which I doubt anyone would know, which I really enjoyed. And he's always looked for a British TV show sci-fi show to do. And people are sort of reading between the lines at the moment that, he's becoming a British citizen, blah, 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 blah. What if they offered him the chance to take over Doctor Who? If J. Michael Straczynski took over Doctor Who, I would most certainly go back and at least see what he's got to offer with it.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm going to say. If you're not aware of his stuff, then, but if you were, you would be like, yeah, damn, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I never really got into Babylon 5. It was a TV show that I never went into.
But like I said, I know him as a comic book writer as well. He's written Spider-Man, he's written Superman, he's done a lot of work in comics, as well as TV. But anyway, that's all I'll say about that. Because Doctor Who people away.
And Star Trek as well.
Yeah, back to the other stuff.
Yeah. What else? What else can we talk about?
Well, it's like going back to the designs. It's like, I know you like the Robocop design in the remake film, but again,
I enjoyed that film. I know it's not, people don't really like that, but I quite liked. It's very different to the original Robocop. I don't think it's trying to do the same as what that did.
No. But that's the design. The design. I know it's sleeker and faster, and you can run at like high speeds and all this nonsense. But when that first Robocop design is, again, perfection. It is. It's perfection in my opinion. And if we do get the new Robocop, Amazon, whatever it is, whoever's doing it, I don't know, then I'd be gutted if it doesn't look like that. If they think they can improve upon it, because you can't improve upon these things.
Yeah, but like you say, are they going to be doing it for a younger audience?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
It's the same with Bond as well. The Bond that Amazon's going to produce, is it going to be very different to what we currently know as Bond? I think it will be. I think it will be something. It's going to be aimed at younger audience.
Guess
Right,
we'll find
yeah.
out in time.
And all got a bit quiet, actually, all of that. We had all that sort of announcement of, them taking over the rights to it. And then they sort of put these two people in charge. But then I was expecting, well, at some point this year that we're going to get a casting announcement, but nothing as yet. The thing is, they need to sort of, kind of get on with things before too long, because it's going to be 2027 at least before any new movie comes out. No Time to Die. I know you had COVID and that, which delayed it, but it was actually filmed in 2019. So, you're talking a decade later, sort of thing.
And I still ain't seen the end.
No.
Maybe I never will.
Well, you know what happens.
Yeah, I know what happens, but I just don't care.
No, I didn't mind it. I watched it not that long ago, actually, on a rewatch, and in context to the story arc, it kind of works, but it's a very different. It's a very different Bond to. I think looking back on it now, the Bond that they started off with in Casino Royale is very different to the Bond that they ended up with in No Time to Die.
Yeah.
It's a very, that they kind of humanised him and made him very sort of in touch with his feelings and all of this sort of thing. And then obviously, I guess again they're trying to bring a realism to it, maybe, that he's got a daughter and this sort of a thing, and again you just think, his Bond of his time, when it was first conceived back in the 50s, and then obviously it was the films come along with Sean Connery. He was the perfect choice for that character, and very much sort of those sort of older school kind of ways of, back then, women were very much more the sort of very different to what they are now, sort of secretaries and sort of, glamorous girls, and, could be treated, badly and stuff. And, we just don't live in that world anymore. So is it really relevant now? I don't know.
Well,
Is the character relevant in today's society? The way he was written.
There you go. There's a video for you to do there.
Yeah.
Bond relevant in today's society. I'll leave you with that one.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Because clearly, some of the murmurings have been that, they're going to remake some of the older films. Obviously, set them during that period. Go back to the Cold War kind of period of time and whatever. But
well, Gareth over at Video Tasties, he reckons he's got this source that reckons that they're going to remake The Man with the Golden Gun. He said that twice, actually. He's posted that twice. I don't know. Obviously, he's got a few contacts now in the movie world, hasn't he? He's getting all these people on. Maybe there is something in it. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it as long as they don't try to recreate what was done before. Do something different. Maybe go back to the source material, because I think the source material is very different to what we got back in 1973 or 74, was it? 73.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bond might be done for a lot of people now. Again, it's not going to be made for them.
No.
It's not going to be made for those fans of yesteryear.
No. And people of our age and older very much still love the Sean Connery version. of Bond, which was very much fitting for the 60s, coming out of the, the still in the Cold War and all of that sort of thing. And just his whole demeanor was just very much like Fleming's Bond. And I think Dalton tried to bring that back in the late 80s, early 90s, for a more modern. He like we said before, he's read the books, he understands the character, and he tried to bring that grittiness back. And I don't think the audience was ready for it. They didn't really want that at that point. They just come out of the Roger Moore series, very sort of different, to Connery. That's why it worked. But again, it was very much for that time. That's the thing with Bond. It's always remained contemporary within its time. But I think we've almost reached a point now where I don't know where else they can go with the character, because it's becoming so far removed from the original source material that is it really relevant in today's society anymore? I don't know.
No, at the end of the day, all we can do is wait and see.
Yes.
And then make judgment then.
Yeah.
But we can moan about it along the way.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, I mean, obviously we're starting to come into the summer season now with films. What we got round the corner? What's coming up in May? Cinema release wise, we've had Thunderbolts. I've not seen that yet.
Are you going to see it?
Yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
It's a flop, isn't it?
It is a flop officially.
Yeah, its takings are crap. Its takings are rubbish. I don't think it's even hit. I don't think it's even hit 200. I think it's sat on about 170 million take, and that's it. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
181 million worldwide. That's crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a massive drop off, and you'll have a massive drop off this weekend. I'll be surprised if that'll come in below 300 million. That'll be lucky to walk away with 250. I reckon. We'll see what happens with that.
Although I guess because they're lesser known characters.
But not. That shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter because when Marvel first started, they were all lesser known characters.
True.
They were all, pretty much B-list. Or Marvel had shopped out all their big characters. Spider-Man was with Sony. X-Men were with Fox. Daredevil was with Fox, right? All their big characters were out with other studios. It was just kind of by luck that they were left with the Avengers, in a sense. They were left with those characters. But, like Captain America, he's quite big. But even characters like Thor and things like that, these are not, your Spider-Mans. These are not that recognisable character. Captain America, is a character, entwined with America and the American flag. And so technically he shouldn't have really done very well outside of the United States, which he did. And I'm very surprised by that. But you got a character wearing the American flag. But what I mean is these are all like they were considered lesser Marvel characters.
Yeah. Not the A-listers.
Ant-Man. Do you know what I mean? All these sort of things. These were not recognizable characters to mainstream audiences prior to the MCU coming about. Yes, Spider-Man he's one of the biggest characters, sat alongside Superman, being DC obviously. Hulk is very recognizable. X-Men over there were recognizable. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that these characters are not known shouldn't really play any part in it, have an impact. You know, that they should be. But these are all characters that we've followed. I mean, you know, Bucky Barnes has been about since the first Captain America movie, first Avenger. He's been there all the way through. You know, we've had our time with Florence Pugh. We've met the Red Guardian. You know, these characters, all characters that have had those small parts. And that, for me, that was the draw of the film, was that, you know, I'm actually going to go and get to see a film and spend time with these lesser known characters that haven't, or the majority of which haven't yet had a chance to shine. So there was a certain appeal from that. But people are just, I mean, come on, the superhero genre is way overdone now. Marvel have dropped the ball completely. They ain't got a goddamn clue what they're doing. I couldn't even tell you what are we in, phase 5? Is this phase 5? I don't know.
So, yeah.
I don't even know where phase 4 ended. I don't know what the end of phase 4 was. Was that Ant-Man Quantumania? I don't know. Right.
I think Fantastic Four is the start of phase 5, I think, because it's still, you still got the multiverse stuff, but that's all going to get wrapped up, I think, at the end of
next film,
Secret Wars, isn't it?
I thought we were in phase 5 already.
Maybe we are, but like you say, really, we've lost the plot on a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't think they don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care anymore.
No.
And this is me. I always, don't get me wrong. Still like, watching. Okay, Ant-Man Quantumania was the first film in phase 5. See what I mean? It's just, it's done. It's done. It's tired. It's, audiences aren't interested anymore.
No.
Interested. I saw this morning that apparently Fantastic Four's now gone back for last minute reshoots.
Really?
Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
This close to release.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. There's a good chance that he's starting to rock the apple cart, so to speak, with his the stuff that he said about J.K. Rowling and all this sort of thing. And he's a weird one as well. Pedro Pascal's just turned into a right weirdo. I saw a video of him at this Star Wars thing where he was like interacting with Grogu, and it was just, and the way he's dressed, he's got shorts on, but he's got boots on, like I'm talking about like Wellington's size boots, and he's just turned into this weirdo. And I think he's in too much now. He's just everywhere.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal, and he's just I think he's one of those people that people are going to tire of him quickly.
Yeah.
And if he's upset, I don't get why actors need to use their position as political springboarding, their views and all this. Just leave it out of it. Keep it out of it. And Pedro Pascal seems to be stepping into this territory now, and I don't know. It's just, but I think Fantastic Four doesn't look particularly good in any way, shape, or form. There's certain parts that are very similar to Tim's stories. Like that in the trailers. I'm thinking that shot's just taken straight out of those films there. And in a way, that's kind of like a sort of, it kind of shows how Tim Story's films, are they actually that bad? Okay, I rewatched the first Fantastic Four a few weeks ago, and to be honest, I was watching it and I was thinking, okay, I think I've grown beyond this film now. I think I've outgrown this movie. But I will say that I don't know what people want from the Fantastic Four, because even them ones, they're pretty accurate representations of the comic book. Right. The Fantastic Four comic books are not dark. They're not they're very light. They're very family orientated because it is about family. And when you look at edgier Marvel properties in the comics, Fantastic Four never ever comes across as edgy. And those films weren't edgy. It's very sort of spot on what the Fantastic Four is.
Yeah.
Like, hate them or like them, I think people wanted a more darkness to them. Because you got to think, they came around in the early 2000s, and you had things like Blade, you had things like the X-Men, which took a darker tone. You was coming into the era of Batman. Batman Begins 2005. And I think that people wanted edgier, darker. And this new Fantastic Four just looks. It doesn't interest me. There's no interest. There's no. The cast is crap. There's not one cast member there that says to me, yeah, that's wow, what.
I think the girl who plays Sue Storm, she looks quite.
She's about the only one, but Ian Griffith, Owen Griffith was a good choice for Mr. Fantastic. Chris Evans was, he was so memorable as Johnny Storm that the reaction to him being cast as Captain America was quite sort of like, oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's quite a good actor, so he done well. Michael Chiklis, fresh off of The Shield, was great as Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
And Jessica Alba, I know she's got sort of Mexican-y, that kind of Hispanic-y background, but again, she was quite big at the time. I think, the Minister Kirby is the only one there with any,
I mean, they should have, John Krasinski was, I thought, would have been, well, he looked great as what we got in
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. Excuse the pun. But,
he would have been. He was like a fan casting choice. He was fan cast, and I think people would have preferred that most definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
they've gone with him.
Yeah, having Pedro Pascal once again, just for me, is just like, really, are there no other actors? He's just in everything, isn't he?
The thing is, he has got
even
a following.
Gladiator 2. Didn't realise he was in that. He's in that as well.
I think he has got quite a following. I mean, even that TV show, The Last of Us. And spoiler warning for anyone who's watching that.
As well.
Who doesn't know, he died in like one of the latest episodes, and then the ratings have just gone. The ratings have just gone bam. Have just gone down. So clearly, people were watching for him.
Oh.
I never got through season 1. I never made it through.
I didn't.
Weren't for me.
We watched one episode and that was it.
Yeah.
You can jump in some comments. Some people have left some comments here. So we've got Wesley. I'm a sci-fi fan. Reimagine Battlestar Galactica. TNG and Voyager are my tops. Cool. Yeah, certainly TNG for me. I never watched the new Battlestar Galactica. I know you've got the series, haven't you?
That was very good. It was very, very, very good. Yeah, especially once it got going. Once you got past the first mini series, because it started with a mini series, like I think it was like 2 1.5 hour films or something. It was about 3 hours long, the mini series. Once it got past that, and it got it was very good. Very, even the ending with. I know some people took issue with the ending. I didn't. It was good. I mean, obviously, TNG's great, but I'll be honest, on rewatches, I can sort of skip all of season 1 of TNG, most of season 2, and jump into it at season 3. It had a very rogue start to it.
Well, it was very much driven by Gene Roddenberry, wasn't it? Season 1. You know,
Yeah.
still very much his influence was there. It's very much harks back to the original series in a lot of ways.
Voyager, I never really gelled with many of the characters all the way through. It was very
No,
distributed for the characters. Yeah, as you know, my favourite Star Trek is
Deep
Deep
Space
Space
Nine.
Nine. I mean, out of the four modern era treks, and by modern era I mean TNG era treks, I would go Deep Space Nine, TNG, Enterprise, then Voyager for me. And that's not, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Voyager. It's just my least favourite
I
of
gave
the.
it Jerry Ryan.
Yeah. Well, she gave it a rating spike when she came in. You got to remember, she wasn't there from the get go.
No.
You had that character of Kez. I think her name was Kez, and she was written out. And then Jerry Ryan came in about I think it was season 4, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And she did give it a boost in ratings. Yeah. Kate Mulgrew was very good. I didn't really care for Chakotay. I think the problem for me with Voyager was the promise of the setup offered friction. It offered character friction because you had your Starfleet officers and you had the Marquis, which is essentially a sort of terrorist cell.
Yeah.
And they were both flung, to the far reaches of space together, and they had to combine to form this crew. So technically, that should have created a tension between the crew members. It's a great setup. You got essentially what's classed as a terrorist cell having to work with the regime, so to speak, being Starfleet.
Yeah.
But after the first episode, I think there was only maybe really one more episode that really touched upon that. And it was like they just came together as a crew of a Starfleet crew. And it was a very missed opportunity. That was one of my biggest issues with. And the cast just didn't, like I said, there was only a couple of. Tom Paris I really liked, but they've done nothing with him. The holographic Doctor, Robert Picardo, he was great.
Yeah, I thought he was good. Yeah,
I think they're the only Kate Mulgrew, Tom Paris, and Thingy were the only characters that I really liked.
Yeah,
the others were very. Whereas Deep Space Nine, I could say, yeah, I actually liked all. I mean, I liked all of the characters, even though they sort of paired them. They started pairing them up. The Doctor and Miles O'Brien together, Quark and Odo. There was these pairings that kind of took place. But yeah, for me, that was one of my favourite Star Trek series. There we go. Enough about Star Trek. But no, Voyager is far better than most of news chart Star Trek. New ones are just
the new stuff I've just checked out.
Oh, there we go. Enough of that.
So yeah, Giz, hi, thanks for joining me. We've also got Nang Pang Films.
Yes, how you doing? Hope you're well.
Saw your video the other day, the Liverpool Comic Con.
Yeah, no, he's recently done Interstellar, like first watch of Interstellar.
Oh, okay.
The other day.
All right. Yeah, that Comic Con looked very good, didn't it? It's a lot of that AT&T. Oh no, yeah, that looked really good.
Transport with Chewbacca at the top. That was great. You had all the vehicles there, like the A-Team van.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
You had Ripley and the power loader. There was, there was some great sort of photo opportunity stuff there. It really was. At that, yeah, I was impressed.
Far more so than the London one that we went to a few years ago.
Yeah. See, now I'm not, as you know, I'm not really an autograph hunter. I don't. Me getting autographs off of people just don't interest me really anymore. When I was younger, yeah, and I'm not knocking anyone that does it. Do you know what I mean? It's great but for me, it's like, it does nothing for me getting autographs or going and meeting people. It just now it just doesn't have any intrigue whatsoever. But like I said, I'm not knocking people that do it. I know he met like Denise Richards there. Good choice, you know. But yeah, but for me, seeing that you know, it'd been like, oh look, I could have got a photo with that, with the ATST, with Jabba the Hutt, with that Predator by the skulls. Do you know what I mean? It'd have been all that stuff. That model in the power loader. It'd have been those sort of photo opportunity sort of things more than anything else, rather than with a. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even Thingy was there. Is it Michael Winslow? Is that his name? From I think that's his name. Jones from Police Academy, the one who does all the sounds.
Yeah.
And I know I got a photo with him, but I wouldn't have even recognised the guy. I wouldn't have.
No.
You know, so much time has passed since those 80s films that I wouldn't. I'd you know, if he was on fire in the street, I wouldn't pee on him because I wouldn't know who he was.
No.
But
he was great. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he changed so much.
Police Academy, all them noises he used to make.
Yeah. He was in the TV series quite a bit as well, as I recall.
Was he?
Yeah, there was a Police Academy TV series that they'd done. I think it only lasted 22 episodes or something, one season maybe. I think he was. Yeah, there was a few guest stars in and out, but I think he was one of the people that got.
I've not seen those for years. I can remember back in the 80s. Yeah, he was kind of like, for me, there was him and there was the other guy that was like the real sort of, it was almost like an army bloke. Like
Tackleberry. Sort of... Yeah, Tackleberry. Name was something Graff. I think his name was something Graff.
Yeah, almost like he wanted to be commando sort of thing.
Yeah, he was good. He was like, you know, he passed away, didn't he? I think.
Did he? Oh,
some time ago. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did. The thing is, a couple of years ago, I watched Police Academy, the first one again, because I got the box set with them all in. I got it for like £12. And the first one's great. It still stands up. And then I started the second one, and I couldn't get into it. I couldn't, I think moving forward, any Police Academy rewatch would just be that first film. It certainly lost something moving into that second film. It's just whatever made that first one special was lost after that as an adult watching them. As a kid, you don't get it, but as an adult, it's like it's lacking. It lacks something.
Yeah.
Something's been lost.
Well, again, products of their time, Yeah.
Well, the first one still stands up. It's good, because it's a bit more. I think the first one's a little bit more risque in what it does, and that was certainly dropped from the later ones. It's almost like
forget the actress's name. Who's in it? Wasn't she? She was in Big Trouble in Little China. And,
Kim Cattrall.
She was in it, wasn't she? Kim Cattrall.
She was in the first one, yeah.
In the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know
she was the main guy? Can't remember his name now, but who was the main guy in it?
Oh, what? Mahoney?
Yeah, Mahoney. Yeah.
Yeah, played by Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah, he was in quite a few of them, wasn't he?
He exited in part 4.
Part 4, yeah.
Part 4 was his last one. He left with Sharon Stone. She was in the fourth one. Sharon Stone was in the fourth one.
Blimey.
He left with her.
I remember the first
hot air
one,
balloon, as I recall, or something.
Yeah, there was one where they went to Moscow, wasn't there?
That was part 6. I think that was 6.
Yeah.
Wow. Part 5 was Miami Beach, where Tackleberry pulls the gun on the shark in the ocean. I do remember some bits of them, yeah. But they've been, crazy.
Oh, dear.
But no, I think when I was young and I first watched the first one, I was sort of like, I was very young, and it was sort of like, "Oh, should I be watching this?" You know, like I said, it had this risque kind of element to it. I know there's bits with nudity and things like that, and when what's her face rips her top off, you know, the woman who's the trainer with the blonde hair, the tough one,
Oh yeah.
and when she's, you know, doing the sort of judo with them, and she's got her legs over there, geezers, you know, she's right there. You know what I mean? Her legs are like, and she's there, and they're all like, she goes, who's next? They're like, and it was sort of like, I was so young, I was sort of like, oh, should I really be watching? You know, is this something else? But that was lost on the later ones. Do you know what I mean? It was more family friendly kind of humour.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and I think that's what you know. Yeah, I think that's the fundamental difference as they went on.
Game too family friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, yeah, Kim Cattrall, she was only in the first one. Obviously, she was in Star Trek 6, as you know. She's originally from Liverpool. She's a
You
British
wouldn't know,
actress.
would you? Doesn't
No,
have
I
a
think she was
Liverpudlian accent.
born or lived in Liverpool. She still does the Liverpool. She still do the Liverpudlian. Yeah, she can still do it. I've seen her in
Oh,
interviews.
okay.
And obviously she was in. What else was she in? She was in that Rutger Hauer film, Split Second. One set in London where it's flooded, and there's that big creature that's very Venom-esque, way before Venom was ever done. Venom in the comics was done, but when I first saw that film, I was like, "Oh, that's Venom. That's, you know, you've taken, essentially, you've almost created Venom there with this big black thing with the big drooling teeth and the big clawy fingers, and that you've taken that character and put him in this film."
Yeah. Yeah, I've not seen that for years, that film.
I do have it somewhere.
101 did a nice edition of that, didn't they?
Yeah, I think I've got it somewhere. It's somewhere about, I don't know where. But there we go.
So Wesley says, when you get a chance, can you tell me a couple of movies that you would suggest that are hidden gems that people may have not watched? I would suggest Clay Pigeons, Vince Vaughn and Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
I heard of that one. Clay Pigeons.
Go on then, Matt. Any gems?
I mean, you've not yet watched it, have you? Local Hero. That's really good. You should watch that. That's great. Sort of, you know, it's a comedy, but it's quite quirky. I really enjoy that film back in the 80s.
I'll be honest, I've not had TV on this week.
No.
With everything that's going on at the moment, as you know, which I won't get into, I've just not been in the mindset for watching stuff, so I'm finding really difficult to do at the minute.
But young Peter Capaldi's in that.
Okay, yeah. So let's see. What film that I would suggest is the one that you watched yesterday, Matt.
Oh, the Below.
Below, yeah.
Below, yeah.
Which is a
very good.
A submarine film, World War II submarine film, that kind of a thriller, sort of edges into sort of horror territory, but not really scary. And it's directed by David Twohy, directed by David Twohy, who gave us Pitch Black. I think, unfortunately, when the film came out, it was kind of just dropped, not in many theatres and things like that. So it was almost went straight to video in a sense. Bruce Greenwood stars in it, who, I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you might know him from Star Trek, the new Kelvin timeline. I say new Kelvin timeline films. He plays Christopher Pike in them.
He does,
He's the geezer who recruits Kirk in that first one. And I like him as an actor from an old TV show and things like that. Yeah, that's one I would say. Yeah, Below. That not many people seem to have seen. And another one would be, the one I always go to is C. Thomas Howe in Kid from the late 80s, Young C. Thomas Howell, where he goes into this town to get revenge on the people that killed his parents when he was a young lad.
Mm.
But that's very difficult to find. I mean, you might find it on streaming or something somewhere. Yeah, it's not a big budget film, don't get me wrong. But it's just a film that I've always, again, resonated towards. I remember having it on VHS. I remember renting it. It was under the Entertainment and Video label. I remember when it came out. I remember renting it. It was shortly after his time of doing The Hitcher. Obviously, he was in The Hitcher. And yeah, I mean, I was so excited when, I don't know how many years back it was, but finally it came to DVD in Germany. I think Germany is probably the only place where it was ever released on DVD. And I was so excited. I obviously bought it. Yeah. I've got it somewhere. I'll show it, but it's sort of out of sight. I can't see it at the minute.
Yeah.
Somewhere abouts. Yeah. So there's two that I can below in that. Yeah, Kid.
Mr. Dan and Horror. Good morning, gentlemen. Kid with C. Thomas Howell. I vaguely remember it, but don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's got Thingy in it as well. You know, the geezer who plays the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
That guy. Is his name Emery?
Yeah.
Something like that. Lee L. I can't remember his name, but he's in it as well. He's one of the sort of.
Oh, you mean, yeah.
It's a very. It goes into a very small, dusty American town. Do you know what I mean? Where, yeah, your bus comes through like once a month, sort of situation. Very, you know what I mean? And yeah, and no one recognises him because when it happened, he was like in the eye to a grasshopper, and he comes back as this sort of older teen, and yeah, and he sort of falls in love with this girl there, or he gets in a relationship with this girl there, and she turns out to be the daughter of one of the people that killed his hippie parents, because they lived in like I think, as I recall, they lived in like a sort of mobile trailer in the woods somewhere. I think they came and burnt them out, sort of thing, killing them, townsfolk, or the blokes in the town anyway. And yeah,
there you go. R. Lee Emery.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's you know, it's a small film. Don't get me wrong. There's some pretty bad edits in the film as well. But yeah, it's just, I loved it. If that got a Blu-ray or a 4K, I'd grab it instantaneously. But yeah, DVD Germany was seemingly the only place outside of VHS. I've done it on one of my it was one I spoke about and showed it in my, didn't I? In my Trapped on DVD video that I'd done. Just a little plug there. There we go. Several weeks back, a month back. Yeah, loved it.
I mean, yeah, Amazon Germany is probably pretty good to go and have a browse round if you're looking for films that are on Blu-ray that might not have made it to the UK or US. Often Germany do seem to get a lot of stuff on Blu-ray, don't they?
Yeah, they do. There's a lot. You know, that's where I got my Beastmaster 2 and 3 on DVD from, Germany, because again, DVDs of the second Beastmaster, or the sequels, you know, are tough to come by. So yeah.
And another one I would say, again, if you like your steelbooks and things, collecting those, Amazon Italy is very good. Certainly, you can pick up some great deals. You know, a lot of the new releases, it's not long before they're coming right down in price. You know, I
No,
mean,
no.
several things we picked up, haven't we? You know, I mean, the Joker, Folie à Deux. I mean, I think the lowest I've seen that go to is about €12. You
Yeah,
know, which is, you know, with postage, you're talking about 13 or 14 quid, brand new. I mean,
yeah.
I know it's
Don't
not,
make much difference on it whatsoever from over there.
no,
Because I think the euros, euro's always lower than the pound.
yeah,
So with the postage, when you see it for about €12, yeah, it's about 13 quid. Ain't much for the difference for the postage. Yeah, because no. I mean, that's where I got that Pulp Fiction from for £23.
yeah,
The special collector, the collector's edition one. You just need to stop pointing them out to me.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I've got my eye on at the moment. I'm looking at Craven the Hunter and Venom the Last Dance on Steelbook. At the moment, they're still well, the prices are coming down on them Steelbooks. Hang on a minute. He's trying to call me there, spam call, I think. Yeah, I popped them in my basket last night, and I can get the two films for about 20 quid each,
that's
which
good.
isn't bad, including postage. Not bad, but it's kind of part of me thinking I'll leave it a bit longer because these are going to drop in price. You know, they're gonna be about 15, 16 euros before very long.
although you know the Expendables steelbook you showed me. You know that I got.
Oh, the Expendables 4.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was Expendables 4. I thought it was Expendables 1.
Oh,
I already had Expendables 4 steelbook.
oh God.
So I bought that. Luckily, it was only about 11 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought that. I showed it in my last thingy, and it weren't like, oh, let's go and put this away. I'll show you what. Oh, wait. Give me one sec. ABC. Oh, where is it? I can't find it. Oh, here we go. So I'll tell you what. I'll show you what threw me. So yeah, so that's the one that I got, right? That they
With the
had on there
bird
for
on
11
them.
quid, and I thought, I know that they done 4 versions of these with the bird on, different bird, and I thought that this was Expendables 4, Expendables 1. Even the title says Expendables, but then there's you can see there's an Italian name with 4 in it, and I didn't really pay attention
Okay.
to that. So I go, let's put it away. Let's put it away with my other Expendables steelbook, and this is what threw me. Is that
Okay.
there has got the green slip, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh Christ Almighty! I bought the same film. I thought I was buying Expendables 1 on steelbook 4K, and it's bloody Expendables 4. Don't listen. No, did you point it out to me, or did I find it? I don't know. But anyway,
Can't remember.
yeah, bloody hell. Anyway, one to sell on it. But yeah, so mistakes are made. There we go. What can you do?
Yeah. So Gareth just popped on here and says, he thinks you'll be gutted that Batman 2 may never happen, but it is happening.
Well, you're
Gareth,
talking
they
about.
are doing it, but without Matt Reeves directing. So
I'm gutted
yeah,
that it is happening.
yeah.
Doesn't
So
deserve it.
You'll be happy that Batman 2, because that's one of his favourite Batmans, isn't it? He loves it.
There's no accounting for taste, is there? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's not wind me up. My blood pressure's gone down.
Yeah, keep the blood pressure going.
Earlier because of Batman being brought up. Now,
let's move on to a film that you really like. So, Namping Film says, what do you think of the 50th anniversary steelbook of Jaws, and would you get it?
All right. So, first of all, if you know me, that's a silly question. It's Jaws. Of course, I'm going to get it. All right. Let's be real. Let's be realistic here. Yes, I'm going to get it.
Oh, you are going to get it, are you?
Yeah, it's Jaws, isn't it? Come on now. And it's got a new documentary on it as well.
Oh, right. Well, that sells it.
Right. What do I think? I think, number one, I think for Jaws' 50th anniversary, I was half expecting something a bit more than just a steelbook.
Bit special, yeah.
Yeah. What do I think of the steelbook itself? I think it's too busy. I think that, you know, I think it's quite a lazy steelbook in the sense, in that you've taken the Jaws image, the shark in the middle, and then what you've done is you've plastered, almost photoshopping it. I know it's in an artistic style, but you've photoshopped essentially all the characters around the shark. But when I say all of the characters, right, there's only 4 meaningful characters in Jaws that need to be, other than the shark, that need to be on the cover of that steelbook, right? And those characters are Brody, Quint, and Hooper, and the Orca boat, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you've thrown the mayor onto it and you've thrown Ellen Brody onto it, just kind of like, you know, they're secondary characters. They're characters that don't need to be displayed on the cover of this. What you have the shark, you have the boat, because the boat's a big part of it. The boat is a character in itself, and you have the 3 mains, and that's it. But yeah, see what I mean? Look, and you've even got the sign. They've even thrown the sign in there. You know, the welcome to Amity sign. Oh, yeah. Anyway, no. Of course I'm getting it. It's Jaws, and you know, I'm a sucker for Jaws, isn't I?
You are. I'm gonna show you something now. What about this? Would you get that?
I wouldn't pay the money for it.
This guy wants 800 quid.
I know.
£800.
It's the Cine Museum edition, isn't it?
Yeah. There's that one as well. That's quite nice artwork. That one.
That's what I've got.
Have you got that one?
I've got that. Yeah, I paid excessive amount for it as well.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't know where it is. I'm just having a quick look, see if I can find it. How much is he charging? How much is that one going for?
What, the one that you've got?
That's that one there.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
well, to be honest, the one that I showed is on bids at the moment. £26, 1 day to go.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm watching that just to see what happens with it. There's a lot of watchers though, isn't there? I think when I looked, there's about 26
that one watchers. There. That's on bids at the moment as well.
Yeah. How much? There's only 500.
£13.72, 9 bids.
Yeah. What happens is if you're clever, you just wait until the last minute. You get your bids in at the last second. Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't pay anything. I wouldn't. Yeah, I just ain't got. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money, isn't it?
It is. You can get carried away with this stuff.
But no, I'm happy with. Yeah, I will get the other Jaws one, but I'm happy with, you know, what I've got really. Because I've got that one as well.
That one.
I know it's Jaws 3.
UHD Club. What about that one?
Yeah.
UHD.
Well, you know,
£187 they want for that.
And obviously, I've got the film vault. I've got the film vault. I've got the standard steel book. I've got the film vault one here.
A nice coin with that. Look.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Coin with it.
And I've got the steel book for that. There's so many that I've got for Jaws.
Oh no, it's just never ending.
Where's my little thingy? Hold on a minute. It disappeared again.
Yeah.
And as I showed you, like a week or two ago, I picked that up in the Forbidden Planet.
Oh yeah, That's cool. Yeah.
That's like it's a money box where you just slot your coins into the
Yeah.
inside of the mouth.
Could you put like an addition in there so it sort of sits in there, or is it not? I won't put a steelbook in there, but maybe if you got one with a slip cover or something like that, that would look quite good. You could take a photo of that and put that on Instagram.
I suppose. Well, it would be like that.
Yeah, it does work though, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it sits there. It's side on.
Eating a Blu-ray. Oh,
Where's my thingy one? There's my. Oh yeah. There we go. That one. The bigger boat cut.
Oh right, yeah. Nice.
With the slip.
Oh, was that custom made?
Yeah, that was sent to me by a thingy, weren't it? I forget his name now. That fella who sent me them, and then
Oh, Sexy Monkey.
yeah, who sent me and said not to be mistaken with the monkey, but he sent me it. He sent me, oh, I'll send you this, and then said, oh, send me some money for it.
Oh right.
Yeah, that's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Odd.
Oh, there we go. I want to send you something. Oh, now do you want to pay for it? Yeah, that works, I suppose.
Oh, good that is, yeah.
But that's bootleg. That's bootleg. That is. That's
Is that Jaws 1 and 2 put together?
on there. I've got. I don't. You got the bigger boat cut, and you got the extra swim cut as well.
Oh,
Two
right.
different fan edits of. All right, the bigger boat cut brings together Jaws and Jaws 2 into one complete terrifying story, including over 25 minutes of deleted scenes that will keep you out of the water for good. I'm not sure what the bigger swim cut is though, because I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Not the extra swim cut. I don't know the difference between the two, to be honest.
No. Even got your name on it, hasn't it, AJ? Put your name on it.
I should say, I know it's a hi mate, a little something for you. It's got a message in it because it was sent to me. I know it's a favourite of yours. You asked me last year if I could get it. Had to get it from the US. If you could contact the lad who inquired about it to you, see if he wants a copy. Blah blah blah. Bigger poke cut though, not the extra swim cut. That's just for you.
Ah.
So he does the So the extra swim cut. I don't know what that is. I still need to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to do that at some point soon.
Yep.
So the extra swim cut's just for me. So I don't know what that entails. There we go.
Oh.
There you go. I feel special.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they had that in the Forbidden Planet. It was 20 quid, right?
It's very good.
I was like, oh, I only had the one. Didn't even have a price on it. I took it up to the counter. I said to the girl, how much is that? She goes, oh, I think it's 20 quid. I was like, go on then. Go on then. It's Jaws. I've got to have it, ain't I?
No, it's really good.
So it's got to come home with me. It's Jaws.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what can I say? So I'm just looking around. Anyway, yes, sorry.
Fowler's mentioned a couple of hidden gems. He says The Hunted with Christopher Lambert, Extreme Justice with Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay, all
now,
right.
interestingly enough, in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to Milton Keynes, aren't we? And Christopher Lambert's going to be there.
He is, yeah. We're going on the
Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. The Highlander himself.
Yeah. Part of me tempted, I don't know how much his signatures are, but to take that Highlander Studio Canal release, see if he'd sign it.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know how much his signatures are, though. I think I'll have to go on the website and have a look.
Yeah, probably about 35 quid or something. I don't know what he'll charge.
Yeah. I mean, he must be knocking on now, old Christopher Lambert. I mean, he must be in his 70s. He's got to be.
Yeah, he's he's old fella. Been about a bit, hasn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he? Raiden in Mortal Kombat.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's probably the biggest star that's there, isn't he, at this Comic Con? Well, it's not even a Comic Con. It's a free entry thing that we're going to.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I can't even tell you who else is going. What other people were announced?
Marina Sirtis, she's there. She seems to be at most of these things.
Well, that's the only way she gets money now.
Yeah.
She's at a mall.
Colin Baker, he's always at everything.
There's Chris Barry there. He's usually at a mall.
No, but there is one guy from Red Dwarf, the android bloke. He's there.
Oh, Robert Llewellyn.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Who else? You got the young girl from Doctor Who. The first series. The new guy.
Oh,
the blonde girl.
Yeah, Ruby Road. No,
Ruby Road, whatever her name is. Yeah.
Ruby. That's the character's name, Ruby. I think. Ruby
I remember
Road.
her.
Horrible
Yeah.
actress. Yeah, I don't know her name, but yeah.
Yeah. Millie something. We watched Coronation Street in our house, so I remember seeing her in that. Didn't really. Okay. I've not watched her in that, but she's there. Dempsey and Makepeace, but they're there on the Sunday, so we won't. I mean, I don't know whether we'll actually get to see any of these people.
Yeah, Glynis Barber and
Michael, whatever his name.
Brandon.
Brandon, yeah.
Brandon, Glynis Barber.
Yeah, they're there on the Sunday, but old Christopher Lambert, he's going to be there on the Saturday. So, you never know, we might get to see him from afar.
Yeah, and that's all. Even that for me, that's enough. It's like like when we went to the London one, it was like, you could see them. And it's like, look, there's so and so, there's David Harbour, there's whoever else.
Yeah, Jerry Ryan, we saw her, although she did have a mask on, which was a bit of a shame.
Oh,
but...
yeah. Like I said, I was tempted with Dolph Lundgren when he announced Dolph Lundgren was at one of them, and then I just thought,
that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, or was it year before? I don't know now, but it was at some point. Yeah, year. And that one kind of piqued my interest in like, let's go and take Punisher and get it signed. But ultimately, it was like, I don't really want to spend 60 quid just for someone's signature or or more for a photo with someone. I don't get nothing from it. Like I said, it's no. I don't want to knock people who do. It just signature just means nothing to me. Meeting these people means nothing to me. They're just people. They're just people. That's all.
They are really, yeah. Collector Mania, it's called. So we've got
200 quid. Yes, that's.
Yeah. Millie Gibson. That's it. That's her name.
Oh yeah. Name.
The Christopher Lambert. So let's have a look. Ticket info. Let's just see. Standard autograph is £40.
Yeah.
Standard photo shoot is £40.
Yeah. Well, if you want, I'll Google his signature, and then I'll, I don't know. I'll be able to get it over as is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does nothing for me.
No, it does seem a lot, but I guess again with those sort of things, you need a photograph of him signing it as well to say this is actually genuine, But yeah,
well, I don't think that's the issue getting that, but
it does seem.
It's just I think part of the Lundgren one was that at the time part of the intrigue was based around the fact that he was ill as well. That
he did have that
cancer. So
cancer scare, didn't he?
How long you have left, but ultimately, Christ, I've met. I've got a folder somewhere with loads of photos in that signed where I met all the cast of Babylon 5 and things like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know where it is now. I don't know where those photos are, in a box in the attic. Yeah, I remember going to, I went to several Babylon 5 conventions. I went to a thing in London, and it had Michael O'Hare there, who was the commander before Bruce Boxleitner came in. He was the commander in the first series of Babylon 5, and I got tickets to this very small event, right? And there must be about 15 people there. That it was in a room. It was a room. You could only house a few people. It was above this shop, and they got come in. And I got tickets. Me and my mate went, and so it was almost a one-on-one. It was very, it was small, and yeah, I got his signature there, and then I met Bruce Boxleitner and the whole cast. I mean, a lot of the cast of Babylon 5 now passed away. So many of them died young. Jerry Doyle, who was like Bruce Willis lookalike. He was everyone. I got them all, but it's all up in the attic. And again, one of the conventions, I went all the way to Blackpool. Literally, I was up at crack of dawn with my mate. We got on a train up to Blackpool for one day. We stood in a queue for 4 hours to go into this room where they all were, and came back on the same day. And we stood there for 4 hours waiting to get in and get these, to get signatures. It wasn't like now where the prices are through the roof. Right, It was like you go in, you've paid your entry fee into the convention, fine. Then you queue up and you pay for the photo and they sign it. So the photo's like £5. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're paying like a stupid fee. You're paying like £5. Oh, I have that photo. I remember the Bruce Boxleitner photo is very dark. It's a very dark photo. It's all that was left by the time we got in there. But yeah, I wouldn't do that again. It's not that.
No. I think like back in the years and years ago, back in the 80s, when these sort of things, you probably go in them and they probably just sign them for free, back then.
Well, yeah.
Like say.
Like I said, with Glynis Barber, I met Glynis Barber as a young lad. I was in primary school, and they used to film Dempsey and Makepeace all around my area in South London. I knew a lot of the shit. Watching it, I could say, "Oh, I know where that is." Her actual house, what played as her house, is on the opposite side of. There was a big hill called Dock Kennel Hill where I used to live, and there was a crossroads at the top. And you go across the crossroads, and the first road on your left, go down the hill, and there's these big, huge townhouses on the right-hand side, and one of them played as her house. At least the exterior of it played as her house. So I knew where that was. And they would film in around there, and on their filming breaks, they had photos, and I got a black and white photo of Glynis Barber signed there and then from her. Nothing for it. They didn't want nothing for it. Just, do you know what I mean? And then I remember going into primary school. Look, I've met Thingy from Dempsey and Makepeace. Blah blah blah. I don't know whatever happened to that photo.
No.
It's gone. I've got a signed photo of Adrian Paul somewhere. The Highlander. I don't know where that is. Very, very sort of homoerotic photo it is. It wasn't my choice of photo, don't get me wrong. I didn't choose it. It was just all that was given to me. But he's like, I think he's like got his shirt open, the Highlander from Thingy.
Oh yeah.
His sort of shirt's open, and he sort of the hair on his chest, and
he would have actually made quite a good Bond, because he did have very much a look of Sean Connery, didn't he?
He did, Paul. Yes, yeah, he did, yeah.
I think he would have been very good as Bond, but too old now.
I don't know what happened to that.
So Giz says, I'd only get a signature on a Blu-ray or a 4K or a movie poster, not on just a bit of paper. Yeah, I don't know really what the rules are around whether they are happy to sign things on whatever you take or whether it is just on a piece of paper. I don't know.
I think if you're paying 40 quid for a photo, 40 quid for a signature, you have it on what you want.
I would have thought so. Yeah.
Oh no, it's 40 quid for a signature, but then you got to pay £5 for that photo. I'm not signing on anything other than that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, this kind of thing.
No, I think they'll do it on,
on
it's like
what
when
you want.
when I interviewed Thingy with Gareth when he invited me on his channel to interview. Christ Almighty, name eludes me. The geezer who created the Punisher.
Oh yeah.
Gareth had sent me his address in America where I could
Right.
send away something to be signed, and I've got my fault. I was going to send that, which is a facsimile. It's not the original Amazing Spider-Man 129, which I do have, but I would never send. But that's like a reprint of it. I was going to send, but then I thought I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered posting it over to America, and just to get him to sign it, and I just couldn't be bothered with it. It just didn't mean nothing to me to have that signature on that sort of thing. Does nothing for me.
No.
But there we go.
Yeah.
Well, I said I'm not knocking people that do it. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. I've got that on Steelbook.
Mess of a film, but I love it. Thoughts? I haven't seen it. But...
All right, it's Kurt Russell and Kevin Costner, and they play Elvis impersonators in Vegas, as I recall, and it's like a heist film, a robbery and all that sort of a thing. It's Christian Slater in it as well. It's been a long, long time since I've seen it. I've never watched it since I picked it up on Steelbook. I think even my Steelbook isn't titled 3,000 Miles to Graceland. I think it's got another title. I think it's like a foreign Steelbook. The title was changed in different territories for that film. Is Christian Slater in it as an Elvis impersonator as well? I'm going to look now. I enjoyed it. Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner.
I imagine Kevin Costner as Elvis.
Yeah, Christian Slater, Courtney Cox is in it. Kevin Pollak, David Arquette.
Yeah, he's in it for 5 minutes.
John Lovitz. Yeah. Thomas Hayden Church. Bokeem Woodbine. It's got quite a decent cast.
Yeah.
What was the other title of it? I know I've got it. It was an ingenious enough plan, robbed the Riviera Casino's courtroom during an Elvis impersonator convention, but Thomas Murphy decided to keep all the money for himself and shot all his partners, including recently freed ex-con Michael Zane. With $3.2 million at stake, the Marshal Service closing in, and single mum Sybil Waingro and her son, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I remember enjoying it. I mean, you got Kevin Costner, you got Kurt Russell. What can go wrong? I'm sure my
Bao says very much like you. He's not interested in photographs or signatures.
Yeah, no. As when I was younger, it was more of a, you know what I mean. But then I sort of I just see these people as,
yeah, just like us.
They're people.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's probably a few that, if I had the opportunity, like I said, I was tempted by Dolph Lundgren. There's probably a handful of people that could tempt me.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell, maybe get something of him. Kurt Russell. But most people I could just sort of let go.
I'm tempted by the Christopher Lambert because I don't know, probably never ever get to see. Well, never have the opportunity again. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But Nampang, he says there was a lady in the queue behind me who got a Playboy signed by Denise Richards.
I will be honest with you. I've got that edition of Playboy.
What, with Denise Richards on the front?
Yeah. I've got Denise Richards. There was a couple of Playboys I picked up, right? For who was in it. The pages aren't stuck together or anything like that. Don't worry. It was all for the articles, but I did pick up Denise Richards' Playboy. Charisma Carpenter, who was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was Cordelia Chase, dark-haired girl, very attractive girl. She done a Playboy shoot. I got one with her. And I think it was the girl who played La Femme Nikita, done a Playboy shoot as well. The TV series La Femme Nikita, Pepper Wilson. I think she done a Playboy. They're in a box again. They're in a box in the attic somewhere. I couldn't fish them out. I wouldn't know where to start looking for them. But yeah, no, that's right. I remember the Denise Richards Playboy. There we go.
Yeah, well, she was a bit of a stunner.
She
still looks quite good now. I mean, she must be in her late 50s now, maybe early 60s. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow, Denise Richards Playboy. Well, there you go. If you want to get something signed, that's the one.
Slater was great in True Romance with Patricia Arquette. I have a nice special edition with the slipcover still sealed. Yeah, I tried watching that film not that long ago and I switched it off.
Yeah, I have it on one of these sort of editions. One of these special edition ones. I've got True Romance somewhere. Don't know where.
Yeah,
but
I just couldn't get into it. Pingy says it's a great film as well.
Yeah, I didn't mind True Romance. That's good.
Ice-T is in it as well.
Okay.
John Robinson. Morning, guys. Also,
Crime is King. That's it.
Crime is King.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
That's the title. That's the steelbook title I've got. I think it then says.
There we go.
Go on.
I had a Playboy with Pammy in it. My missus found it and threw it out. Oh no, what a nightmare. I've still got a calendar upstairs, sealed, Pam Randerson.
Yeah, my missus ain't bad like that. She knows that I've got these. Well, they're older Playboys from before we were together. They weren't. I didn't buy them for that reason. To like not come out to or anything. I just bought them because of who it was on it. I think I probably got them. I think I probably picked them up in the cinema store in London. They would have had them.
I don't know what's going on with old Pamela Anderson though. She seems to have gone very well. The latest photos of her now, I don't know what she's done with her hairstyle, but it looks very odd. And she just wears
Go on.
Wears no makeup now at all.
No, good luck to her.
She's almost gone from like one extreme to the other.
Isn't she in the new Naked Gun film?
Oh, I don't know.
With Leslie Nielsen, I think she is.
Yeah, because I thought
not Leslie Nielsen, with Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson,
yeah,
Liam Neeson, Leslie. I wonder if they chose that because the names are similar. Anyway,
maybe. I did read somewhere that maybe they were going to strike up a relationship or something because he lost his wife, didn't he?
Did he ever find
Liam
her?
Neeson. Huh?
Did he ever find her?
No, I mean she died.
I know. I think that was like around the time just before he'd done The Grey or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's true or not, but
I don't know.
She's not aging well, I don't think. But
Go on,
I'm
keep
very,
talking. I can hear you.
yeah, that's fine.
Can hear
Yeah. So yeah, we're going along to this collector mania thing in Milton Keynes. So if anyone lives in Milton Keynes Way, or they're going there on Saturday the 31st of May, we'll be there. So yeah, if you want to come and get your autographs.
Yeah.
No charge.
Who's going? Me, you, Chris.
Yeah, Scott's coming along.
Oh, is he? All right, cool. I didn't know if he was or not.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, I think he's coming along.
good.
Um,
Yeah, that'll be something, I suppose.
yeah, well, like you say, it'll probably just be it's like you don't have to pay to go into it. So I guess there'll be some stalls. I'm wondering whether it'll be in that little museum place that we went, whether it's going to be there or whether it's just, I don't know, somewhere in Milton Keynes.
No, I
Guess
suppose.
Chris will know, won't he?
Yeah, that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, won't we? We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
But yeah, we'll go along. We've got there's HMV. We'll have a look in there. CEX. We'll have some lunch and do the usual. So yeah, we might. You never know. There might be some videos coming out for that. But
Yes, yeah, a CEX hunt video from me.
yeah, CEX no more.
CEX. Oh. Seriously, no, I was in Bromley the other day, and I didn't even think about it. It didn't even pop in my mind to go into CEX. You know, the one in Wimbledon where I work, I can't even be bothered. I was in the high street because I went to the post office the other day, and I couldn't even, usually I'd walk down to it and I couldn't even be bothered. I just know that I'm going to walk in and it's just going to be the same old generic crap on the shelves.
The thing is I just don't think, because obviously a lot of supermarkets used to stock films and that, and people, they'd buy the latest release, they'd maybe watch it once and then they, trade it in because they don't want to keep it. But I think
People used
because
to
now,
steal from the supermarkets and trade them in.
well, yeah, there is that. Yeah.
Seriously, I've been there. I've been in. I remember on one occasion I was in Lewisham, about 11 o'clock Monday morning, and I was at the counter buying something. This is years ago. It was when Sainsbury's and that still stocked. There was a geezer next to me, young lad, a couple of them, and they had 3 or 4 editions of a latest movie that was out that day.
Right.
Trading them in.
Yeah.
See, take them.
Where's this come from?
You ain't got to be an idiot to know. You know, it don't. Yeah, you know that they've been stolen from local supermarkets. CX
yeah, certainly they've got multiple copies.
Yeah, 4 copies. Come on, sealed.
Yeah.
They've half-inched them, and they know in CEX. They know. They don't care.
Yeah. No.
You know, they enable it. They enable it essentially.
Yeah.
But no,
like say that's.
Collectors are collectors. They ain't getting rid of much now. The majority of people who did get rid of stuff, who are offloading all their stuff they didn't want anymore, that's all been done and gone. The people still buying physical media for the most part keep what they've got. So the influx of stuff in the turnaround in CEXs is minimal. On occasion, you can, you might find something. But no, CEX and that's just.
No. I mean, I suppose, sadly, there are people out there that amass large collections and pass away. And, their relatives just want to get rid of this stuff quickly. So they'll take a box load of these films to their local CEX So you might find all of a sudden, there's an influx of a load of the steelbooks or, this kind of thing. Unfortunately, that's going to happen. But again, it's, you're finding, like you say, this, a lot of the new stuff not necessarily getting traded in much. It's either being sold online. I mean, you've got eBay, Vinted, these sort of things, or car boots. People just, like you say, again, it's a lot of it's the trading value for a lot of this stuff. It's just not worth their time, is it? You're going to get 20p, or even some Blu-rays a penny. It's become that cheap now.
It's not even that. I mean, I've got a DVD that's worth. I don't know where it is now. It's my DVD version of A Woman Scorned. That film, right?
Oh yeah,
Shannon Tweed, right? I've got a DVD version of it, which is quite a rarity, really. And CEX, they ask for quite a bit of money for it to purchase if you want to buy it, but then the money they would offer me to buy it off me is not in reflection to that, like some other stuff is. It's kind of like, we know we can sell. It's kind of like their mentality, or the logic on their sale of that one, I think, is like, we know this is worth this much, but we're going to struggle to sell it, so we're only going to offer you this much for it. I'm going to have a look. We buy, because it's kind of like lower. It's lower than what's it called? A Woman.
While you're looking for that, John Robinson says the Collector Mania is in the shopping centre near HMV and CEX. Okay, yeah. So it's probably in that. There's an area, isn't there? We've been there before, and they've had some sort of something else going on. So
price on it's gone right down. The price on it's gone right down. Right. All they'll sell it for now is £18. I'm telling you, like a few weeks ago, that was about 44 quid.
Yeah.
And it's
they do go up and down, the prices.
Yeah, trading for cash, £4. Trading for cash
a
few weeks ago was only 11 quid at a £44 sale.
Might as well sell it on eBay. You're probably more likely to get a sale on eBay than it being sold in the CEX.
Yeah. I'd give it a try at some point.
Val says, I think CEX has a submerged steelbook that has your name on it, AJ. Submerged.
Submerged. Steven Seagal.
Oh,
that's that submarine one that isn't.
Yeah, it's like on it for about 5 minutes. That's terrible, that film.
Steven Seagal.
Cool.
I used to like Seagal's stuff.
Huh?
I used to like his early stuff.
Yeah, his early stuff. Yeah, he lives in Russia now. He's a Russian citizen.
No, he's twat, isn't he? He's a bit of a
very overweight now. He's put a lot of weight on.
Yeah, I mean, I think my issues came when they started speeding up his fighting scenes in films. When it came to the fighting, they hit the fast forward buttons, made it look faster.
Yeah.
I think the last films, I think I started going off his films around that time. He'd done the one with Michael Caine.
Oh yeah,
the one about, is that the one with the oil? The oil
ecological thing,
yeah, all that stuff. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think that was when I checked out, to be honest.
Around that time.
I think his last real good film was Under Siege, to be honest. I think that was that was his peak, wasn't it? Under Siege, and then after that, I mean, I know I've watched Under Siege 2, and it's okay, but it's a bit iffy on the CGI.
Well, that is Under Siege, yeah. But I actually prefer Under Siege 2 to Under Siege 1.
Do you? No, I prefer the first one. But yeah, that was kind of his peak, and then after that, it all kind of just started to go downhill.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Marked for Death. I like that. That's his best film, in my opinion. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, that era, Marked for Death, Nico.
Yeah, the very early
era,
one. It's brilliant.
I
Absolutely
liked.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unusual for you because it's martial arts as well. You're not really into martial arts, but I guess it kind of falls into the action genre, really. I know it is martial arts, but it's kind of got that more, Stallone, Lundgren feel about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But, here's what it is.
Well, I think we're going to pretty much leave it there because you've got to shoot off in a few minutes, haven't you?
I pick my wife up and head off to Tesco's.
Yes. So, I really appreciate everyone for watching today and commenting. Nice to see some sort of familiar faces. We haven't done this for a little while. Probably going to be a good few weeks again before we get round to doing another one of these because I'm away next weekend. Weekend after, we're meeting up, and then possibly June. Although you're kind of quite busy in June, aren't you? Things going on.
June. I know I'm going away at the end of June.
Oh, the end of June, yeah. Oh, maybe we'll do something. Maybe it'll be your channel next time. So maybe we'll fit another chat in at some point.
Well, we're meant to do that one with Chris as well. His Terminator one.
Oh yes, yeah, we are. Yeah, but
so I don't
can't
know when
do
that's
Saturdays at the moment, can he? Because he's got sort of commitments on Saturdays at the moment. So
yeah,
but yeah, we will have to do that maybe on another day.
Yeah. So there we
go.
Cool. All right. Cool. All right, mate.
Yeah. Well, thanks ever so much, everybody.
Easy.
All the best, and we'll see you next time.
Take care. Goodbye.
Cheers. Bye.